Welcome back to Black and White. I'm Sheldon.
And I'm Mark. And our topic now is middle class blacks. Middle class blacks.
Yeah, there are middle class blacks.
You can't tell by watching the television. Whenever there's a news program, okay, and they're talking about the black community, they want to show the most impoverished area and say this is how it is to be a black person in America.
Yeah, we've had that issue forever. Since, when you go back, when you think of the 80s and the 70s, the Cosby Show was a show that was to show blacks as doctors and lawyers and something that you just didn't see on TV. We were always the goof-offs or the ones with the big platform shoes and and stuff. So when you saw a Cosby Show, that showed, hey, yeah, there are middle class black people, and even today, we're always, when you think of black, you don't think, oh, middle class. You think, oh, they're causing problems and issues, and that's how it's portrayed in the media. And if you listen to the Rush Limbaughs and the Lauras and those guys, you never think that they're any middle class black people.
So good times. Good times.
Good times.
What other ones were?
Good times in Sanford and Son.
Sanford and Son.
The Jeffersons.
What's happening?
Jeffersons were actually one that was part of that whole Cosby kind of thing, because they showed a black family that
moving themselves up,
moved up, to the east side,
right,
and just tried to show that black middle class, and that's something that's really, again, you're right. If you look on TV today, I'd be hard pressed to find that black middle class. I think BET's got a couple of shows on there now that try to show some of the black middle class, but it's not something that's always shown or portrayed. And when you look on the news, we have our heads covered with coats and all those, and the only upper class black people you see are a lot of the athletes.
And
then they're doing, and a lot of them, they show them doing negative stuff.
Well, they're quick to show them doing negative things,
right. And a lot of them don't. A lot of them do a lot of really great things in the community and all that.
And that's never seen because why is it? Do you think that the whole concept of middle class black America and upper class black America is deliberately not shown by the media to cause this black-white warfare or mental warfare against each other?
I think it's done for that reason, and just like for right now, the I don't want to say the warfare going on with the Hispanics, and they don't show the Hispanic middle class. There are Hispanic middle class as well. So
I can't tell because I'm watching everything about how all illegals are here to take the low jobs.
You're not hearing about the middle class. And it's done to keep people. One is the media does it so they can sell papers and continue to get the controversy going, so that you'll buy their papers and watch their news and all that. And it's a disservice to the country in general, because there are middle class minority groups.
But doesn't this create a hatred towards white people? Seriously. Now, I just want you to think about this for a second. If you're sitting there and saying the only people that are middle class are white Americans and upper class are white Americans, and you're in the minority, wouldn't you be looking at white people as like, I don't know, not liking white people because of this? Don't you think that that's a twist that actually causes some of the black and white issues that is not necessary?
It does. It causes the black and white issues. It causes the Hispanic issues with whites, and it causes issues when you're showing a certain group and not showing the other group. And within our own black community, we know we have middle class,
right?
But you don't show that because you're trying to portray a certain image on the various group, on the individual group. And until our media and a lot of our politicians and a lot of our talk show hosts, start showing the middle class and showing, what really is out there.
Right.
Then it's a tough battle, because when you keep seeing these visualizations on TV, it's hard to fight those all the time. People believe what they see and just hear right away.
Yes.
Oh, black people on welfare. Yet by numbers, more white people are on welfare. You know, you don't hear, you know, when they make a certain connotation about illegal aliens, immediately now, because of the way the media is, you think a Hispanic.
Right.
You know, and you've got Irish and German and France
Russian.
and Russian and all these
Right,
other
right.
groups that if you probably lump them together, they're more than
the Hispanic
population.
right.
You know, but
Right.
they're the flavor of the decade.
Well,
to
and
go after.
they're an easy target because the border's there.
Yeah,
and
and
so-
it's an easier target.
Right,
The
right.
border's there.
Easy target.
And
I
you
think
can-
that's one of the key things that we're going to have to talk about as we go on with our shows. Easy targets. It's easy to put black against white, white against black. How easy is it? All you got to do is
Black against
throw up an
Spanish.
issue and be passionate about that one issue, and you've got people hating each other.
You got it. Democrats, Republicans. It doesn't even have to be
It doesn't
color.
matter. I know.
Democrats, Republicans. All of a sudden, they hate each other because of this stuff. Because of it.
And
So-
getting back to middle class blacks, you know, all right, we live outside of Washington metropolitan area, and I know for a fact down in Prince George's County, there's gated communities that are black.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, and
Black,
it just
affluent.
amuses me. It amuses me to no end that when I'm watching the news, all I see are thugs in the street that are acting a specific way, that the media carries that to bring that image. And again, I believe it's the separation, and this separation has caused a lot of turmoil between what other people would normally get along with, but instead they implant this seed of hate because, well, the white people are getting away with everything.
Yeah.
You know, and vice versa. It just, I really think the media needs to be responsible for what they do.
Right, and it's PG County. You brought up PG County before. When you hear PG County, you always hear crime activities going on there. And you're right, they're gated communities. There are houses that are worth $500,000 and over.
Right.
And you know, and it's a black community. It's a black community. So again, the media has a responsibility, and I think that right now their responsibility is selling paper and selling advertising, and they do whatever they have to do that. But it creates a very negative issue with the community. When I say the total community, you know, black and white, and,
Right.
and everyone just living together in harmony.
It's interesting. I was talking to a young black man, and we were talking about things, and he does not like white people. And he said to me, we were talking, and I go, well, do you not like me? Yeah, I'm not doing anything to you. And I said, or is it the stigma that it is presented to you about how it seems like white people just get to walk, you know, do whatever they want to do, and you don't. And you're arrested, you're followed in stores. When you go to hand money to a counter person, they put it back. Instead of it going in your hand, it goes on the counter. I said, is it all these little things that are happening that you know, it's a perception that it's the white people that are getting over, when in fact, you know, it's how the media presents this thing.
Yeah, and to some degree, you know, they'll follow us around the store while a white person is on the other aisle stealing them blind. You know, I mean, seen it. I've seen it. I mean, I'm not even making it up or heard a story about it.
Right.
I've seen it.
Right.
So, yeah, it is how you know, perception is a really, and we had talked about this earlier before, perception is really a big thing, and it's hard to break your perception when a perception is made and you know, constantly reinforced.
Right. And one of the things that bothers me is the fact that the media doesn't show middle class blacks, so it doesn't give anybody who's below the middle class this inspiration that they can get there.
Right.
You know, and it's again, it's all negative, and then what does it all flip back on? The white man has the power. Instead of saying, hey, this is a country where you can go if you want to aspire to a higher level, you do it. You know, and that really bothers me because, again, we're here because it's black and white. Okay, this is the gray area that causes the issues that aren't really issues. Well, they're not because of us. They're because of what the perception is.
And yeah, to take that one step further, you know, when you have the perception, it creates the issues and it creates the hate, just like you talked about the the young guy that you were talking to, and he sees it, and they watch TV, and they figure that one group can get over, and the other groups are just screwed. So
Right, right.
so again, it's something that that's why we brought together this black and white to discuss these issues so that we can get it out there and sort of come to some kind of at least understanding
Right.
of what's going on. But yeah, middle class blacks
Are alive and well.
alive and well, and and again is the backbone, I think, of the black community. So it's something that we have to perpetuate and I guess do a better job of advertising that we're there.
Well, and so do you think it's the responsibility of the middle class black community or Americans to say to the media, stop this, stop it, because you're only showing a specific way of life that isn't the normal. You're showing one area of a vast area that you're leaving. You're not showing.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. It is partly responsibility of the group. You have the NAACP that's out there that's trying to help promote that, and various other groups that are trying to make sure that you get to see some of the positive sides of the black community, and once you see that, then you can go forward with a more positive view of things. So, we'd love to hear from you guys out there.
Definitely.
We'd love to hear from you out there and hear your feedback and comment.
Go to our website, blackandwhite.com, and you can send us emails, and you can also call in. And if you don't use a bunch of F's and a bunch of S's and a bunch of whats, we'll play it, and then we'll answer your question.
Yes.
I mean, feel free to say what you want to say. This is what it's about. If you're not man enough or woman enough to step up and say something, don't say anything. Seriously, I don't care who you are, black or white. You got to be willing to step forward, because we're not gonna get ahead in this country until we can talk about things. And the gray areas are the areas that we've been keeping over here and over here. We got to stop that.
Absolutely.
And on that, we'll be back.